The following account is based on NUFORC UFO sighting 182552. This happened on August 1st, 2024. Duration 10 minutes. Number of observers 2 pilots. The location was Fort Edward, New York, USA. Details outside of Fort Edward near some farmland. The shape of the UFO is cigar. The color is green, and it was about the size of a 747. The closest distance was between 200 and 300 feet, and the witness estimated that it was moving up to 800 or 1,000 miles per hour. He says, "I am a pilot and wish to remain anonymous because my co-pilot attempted to report this and was grounded as a result. Around 3:40 to 4 a.m., we were flying into a local airport. After dropping off a couple of passengers returning from military basic training, we were over the Fort Edward area, passing over some farmland, when my co-pilot pointed toward the mountains and asked, 'What is that green thing?' I looked over and saw a solid green light that appeared to be hovering. Initially, I thought it might be some kind of tower on the mountain and shared that thought with my co-pilot as we continued to fly. However, he pointed again, saying it had moved. When I looked over again, the light was closer, probably within 500 feet of us, and appeared to be flying toward us. I thought it might be a private plane, possibly with incorrect lights installed. I instructed my co-pilot to turn the cockpit lights on and off in hopes of getting some kind of response. And when he did, the light grew brighter and then blinked out. This had all taken place over the course of about 5 minutes, and by now I was suspicious, because aircraft don't just shut their external lights off in the middle of the night. Within about 30 seconds, I saw it again, this time about a mile away. Somehow it had moved from being 500 feet to our right to about a mile away over another mountain in just 30 seconds. From this angle, I could see that the light was cigar-shaped, more like a cigarette due to its length. I asked my co-pilot if we should report this, but he remained silent, staring out the window. The object didn't appear to be moving relative to the lights on the ground. Then it made a slow turn, pointing in our direction again, resembling a ball of light, and flew past us very quickly. When it passed over the cockpit, it couldn't have been more than 200 to 300 feet above us. I could see what appeared to be rows of windows in the front with no wings whatsoever, and I realized that the green light was coming from bars running along the length of the object. That was all I could discern in the brief moment it was visible. My estimate is that it traveled from about a mile away to directly over us in just a few seconds. My co-pilot opened the door to see if anyone else was awake or had seen it, but everyone in the back was asleep. He returned and said he was going to report it. I agreed, and I got on the radio to ask if there were any other planes or aircraft in our vicinity. I was told no. The controller then asked if I had seen something, and when I said yes, he asked me to switch frequencies, which doesn't happen often. After switching, he informed me that someone about 5 to 6 miles away had reported seeing a row of green lights. I clarified what we saw was an object that appeared to be an aircraft with no wings, featuring 2 green bars of lights so bright they illuminated the entire object. He then told me to switch back to the regular frequency and begin our landing approach. After landing, we were questioned by a man in a nice blue suit, though I'm not sure who he was. We were taken to a small room and asked to describe and draw what we had seen. He asked if I wanted to file a formal report, but I declined. My co-pilot, however, did file one and was grounded the next day. I live in upstate New York, though not in this area, but I do have a family member who lives near where we saw the object. When I called him, he mentioned that people in the area often see similar things over the farmland and mountains toward Vermont. He and others in the area believe these lights are military in nature, and I tend to agree. I think what we saw could have been a drone of some sort, though it was very large, at least twice the size of our plane, making it about the size of a 747. We couldn't hear any noise from it, though that's not surprising since it's difficult to hear anything outside the cockpit. The bars of lights on both sides reminded me of something I saw in the military, which they use on helicopters to signal from a distance. I believe this was a large UAV, possibly used for signaling jets or something else in the area. My co-pilot, on the other hand, believes it was something not from here, which may be why he was grounded. According to my great uncle, who lives near the area where this sighting took place, sightings like this are common, but no one reports them, likely because they believe they are military. He also mentioned that a farmer nearby had to chase off a group of men in military fatigues with flashlights from his property about 2 months ago. This further reinforces my belief that what we saw was military, possibly a UAV used as a kind of North Star for other aircraft. Sorry for rambling, but my mind is still blown by what we saw. The only rational explanation I can come up with is that it was military. If I'm being irrational and leaning toward conspiracy theories, then maybe it was extraterrestrial, but I just don't buy that. Again, I strongly believe this was a military operation, and I mention this in case anyone connected to my company or the local airport reads this report and considers grounding me. Until next time, this is UFO Warning, over and out.